Welcome to How Would You Write It? I'm your host, Nanea Taylor, and I get a chance to sit down with creatives to find out the story behind the story. And I am so very happy today that I get a chance to sit down with screenwriter and author Mark Davidson. Mark writes stories that explore the uneasy space where family, fear, and the power of nature collide. His debut novel, Judy, arrives on June 23rd. Again, guys, it's June 23rd. Be ready to go out and get this novel, okay? It follows a family caught in a terrifying fight for survival after a fishing trip off North Carolina's Outer Banks goes terribly, terribly wrong. Drawing from his lifelong fascination with sharks, movies, and storytelling, Mark brings a cinematic eye to the novel that asks a chilling question. What happens when nature doesn't hate us, but doesn't care if we survive? Welcome, Mark.
Thank you, Tay. I appreciate you having me.
I am so very pleased that you're here. Can you tell the audience a little bit about what Judy is about?
Yeah, it's a survival thriller
Mhm.
about some folks that go out on a charter fishing boat the day after a hurricane kind of breezes by this place called Cape Hatteras, which is off of North Carolina, near this place called Pamlico Sound. So Pamlico Sound is this big body of water about the size of Delaware. It's called brackish water, and it kind of borders the Atlantic Ocean. So they go out there on a trip the day after the hurricane. Their charter fishing boat grounds on a newly formed island. And
Mhm.
what they don't know is now that they're sort of trapped on this thing called a shoal. They're trapped, and a great white, which was recently tagged offshore, has also found its way into Pamlico Sound. So while these folks are trapped on this shoal, they can see their boat, but they're also surrounded by a killer shark, and chaos ensues. And it's really at its core, it's about a family that struggles with the reality of the system that is the ocean. So there's a great white shark. There's other wildlife that comes into play. There's a rising tide, right? So as they're standing on this shoal trying to keep away from a shark, the water's getting deeper and deeper because the tide is coming in, allowing the shark to come closer and closer. Um, it's very much, I believe, a Spielbergian type of family that's in the core of this.
Mhm.
That was definitely in my mind as I was writing it. And that family is going through divorce. And as Judy closes her loop, they start to resolve divorce-related problems as they deal with Judy. And Judy ends up standing in as a sort of metaphor for these dark truths that we have to deal with.
So, what sparked you to write Judy?
Oh man, that's a long story.
We got
Well,
time.
I'm gonna give you the sort of short versions. Okay, so I saw Jaws in 1975, so I was about 8 when that happened. That is not the best age to send a kid to see a movie like Jaws, but I went and I went and I went and I went and became fascinated. Just like kids are into dinosaurs, I was into sharks. I wasn't much into writing then, but I knew a good story. I felt
Mhm.
it. Um, I went down the road of figuring out all things Jaws, and it stuck with me. It's my favorite movie. I think we'll hit that at the end, right? But it as I transferred into writing in the early 2000s, right around 2000, I
Mhm.
started going down the road of all these great horror movies I had seen, and I consider Jaws a thriller horror. It has horror elements, right?
Mhm.
I'm going, oh, okay, let me do my version of Texas Chainsaw Massacre and The Thing and Friday the 13th, right? How could I do it better? And Jaws was always in my mind, but I could not crack this one. I did not see a way into a shark story that did the same thing that Peter Benchley did. He's the guy that originally wrote Jaws, that Peter
Mhm.
Benchley did back in 1974 or so.
Mhm.
This adult themes, right? Shark movies had over the years transposed into like slasher movies, right? Where the shark attacked generally, I'm generalizing here a little bit, but basically the shark attacked a nubile group of teens. The shark came in regular intervals. It was like a roller coaster, just like a horror movie is.
Mhm.
And at the end, the shark died. And very predictable. And if you're in the movie business, predictable's good. But we lost our way with some of these fantastic shark stories that are out there because it's not really about the shark. The shark is a part of a system, right?
Yeah.
And what really matters are the people. And so
Mm.
they, in my mind, the movie makers threw away that idea of the people are the most important, and they go, oh, the shark and the mechanics are the most important. So I came up with all my versions of the different horror movies. I'm trying to crack Jaws, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I'm still way off into sharks. So as we get into the early 2020s, I'm watching all this stuff on YouTube and Shark Week, just like everybody else. It's
Mm-hmm.
like billions of views of shark videos. Or if you go to
Yes.
YouTube and just whatever shark video, I mean, the stuff adds up. People worldwide are obsessed with sharks,
Of
even
course.
to this day. So I'm going, oh, well, wait, there's a way in. The way in is Shark Week, and it's tagging sharks. Because if you, there's a bunch of groups that tag sharks. One's called O Search, right? They're a big group. They generally operate off the East Coast and down in Australia. And they have these cool, professionally produced videos where they raise these sharks from the water, they tag them, they send them back. Like, oh man,
Mm-hmm.
that's cool. So now I have this thing that I really like. I think it's man's perceived dominance or sense of control over something they have no sense of, they have no real duty thinking they can control it. And
I love that.
they give the sharks these sort of um like referential names, like they name them after their grandmothers and their loved ones. And so there's a Mary Lee. Mary Lee's a huge great white that lives, I think, out in Hawaii way. And uh, and you see these things come out of the water, and they name them, they set them free, and people attach to them. So I had the idea of naming what you fear and pulling sharks, great white sharks, out of the water, trying to control something, right?
Gonna control something. I love that
Yeah.
insight. Oh my gosh.
So then I always had, as Jaws was sitting there, I've got a Jaws poster sitting right there next to me, right? I'm
Hmm.
always looking at it and going, what was it? And it was Spielberg's control over family. It was how he moved families through his stories. So now I've got to put a family in jeopardy, and the family has to have its own set of problems.
Problems.
So basically, the big part with my family is they're going through this divorce.
First.
So now I started having the parts, right? And I brought them together in about 2023. I brought all this stuff together, and this was not long after The Shallows came out. All right, so The Shallows that had here we go. The Shallows had Blake Lively, and that's
Yes.
the one where she's stuck on a rock out,
Mm-hmm.
100 yards off the beach, and the shark's circling her.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw it in the theaters. Right? I thought, hey, yeah, that's right up my alley because it's not a slasher movie. She has real family problems that she's dealing with, and the shark could be metaphorically or symbolically part of these problems. And the special effects in The Shallows are really, really good. And so I go, oh, geez, Hollywood can do sharks, right? There it is. They made The Shallows for I think 17 million, and they got 120 million back. And it was Sony. So maybe there's an appetite, right? If you
It's,
can pull,
I
right,
mean, Shark
right.
Week.
It
All the
sounds
you
it sounds like
not
a
even
great idea.
yeah, it's a fantastic idea.
So I write the screenplay of Judy, and I go,
Uh-huh.
oh, man, and it has all those things in it, right? And I
Uh-huh.
go, yeah, yeah, this is good, and I get some interest, and it goes different places, but and at the end, it went nowhere, right? Just like a
Uh-huh.
lot of these things do. And I'm thinking this is a miss because I'm looking at all this data and uh, all of these data points that point to the idea of not only is this a killer story with some great themes, but creatives, other people, producers, production companies, this is right in their wheelhouse. So out goes the screenplay, and as screenplays tend to do, it goes nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
It had a few, it did okay, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's that point in time, in my opinion, when Hollywood starts to tip over into everything has to be based on IP, right?
Yeah.
I think a lot of folks right around this time, they're going, man, what do I got to do to write a spec script that gets produced at, at, at a reasonable budget, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so like a lot of folks, I go, well, let me own the IP. Let me find a way to recast the IP
Mm-hmm.
into something where I can build the audience, and once I get people hooked on it, maybe get some folks to buy the book, right? Then I can spin that back into my Hollywood IP. which is one of my ultimate goals, right? Is to take some of my screen work and turn it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I had some experience with fiction writing. I wrote a book before this,
Mm-hmm.
and I learned a ton of lessons from the first book. I learned a lot about getting out of my own way. Right? I was
Yeah.
in my way. It took me so long to write this first book,
Mm-hmm.
and it was because I was in my own head, and
Mm-hmm.
I was not trusting myself, or I wasn't trusting my voice. And
Mm-hmm.
I got all of that out of the way, excuse me, with Coming to Judy, which was my second written novel. Plus, I had this killer, what I believed was a killer outline, which was my screenplay.
Mm-hmm.
So I was able to parlay the screenplay into a novel that I thought, like I read Jaws when I was a little kid, and I go, this is like reading Jaws when I was a little kid. I was trying to not necessarily copy
Capture
the
the
idea.
magic of it.
I'm trying, yeah, I'm going to regrab. If I can take some other 10 or 12-year-old kid out there and
Mm-hmm.
some see Judy or they read about Judy and it gives
Mm-hmm.
them kind of spark that Jaws gave me, I go, win. Um,
I just got chills on that one. Yeah.
so that's how
I feel you
Judy,
so
the
deeply on
novel,
that. Yeah.
yeah, that's how the novel came to be.
Well, I am so very excited to have you on, and I'm so happy that for me it's Star Trek, for you
Yeah,
is Jaws. So I'm just
yeah,
okay. Anyway, you described being fascinated by the moment when wonder turns into fear.
yeah,
Um, sorry, guys. I use my hands, and suddenly it switches and puts the hand up. Sorry, audience.
yeah,
Anyway,
yeah.
why do you think audiences are so drawn to stories where something beautiful suddenly turns terrifying?
That's a good question. All right. So I, I think that you find that we have shared belief systems,
Yeah.
and that we want to know everything. It's about control again. We want to know and feel that we know what we're getting into.
Mm-hmm.
When that reality skews a little bit, and you suddenly find out that what you thought was real or what you romanticized isn't quite up to your own internal view of that your core can be shaken, right? It's like if you looked at what's a good reveal? It's the thing when Bruce Willis in The Sixth Sense figures out that he's dead, right? You had this thing shaping up into what you thought was a movie about a kid that sees dead people, only to find out that it was a switcheroo, that what you thought was true
Mm-hmm.
was not true at all. And I think that people want to believe, and when you screw with their worldview and you give it some teeth, no pun intended,
Mm-hmm.
that one, they become more infatuated, and two, it can become a little world changing.
Mm-hmm.
When you if you can shift somebody's worldview just a little bit, um, I think that's very intriguing and alluring for viewers and readers.
Love that answer. As a produced screenwriter, what storytelling habits carried over into writing a novel? And what
Uh,
did you have to unlearn?
yeah.
Because
Okay.
they're two different
Yeah.
mediums, and you
Yeah.
got
Yeah.
to switch
Yeah.
your brain.
So there's a couple things. So I always think in threes, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't always, I frequently think about threes. And even when I get stuck, I think about threes. I think about beginnings, middle, and ends,
Mm-hmm.
first act, second act, third
For
act,
that. Mm-hmm.
right? And I'm always, and then I think about in a paragraph, a beginning, a middle, and end. Then I think about in a sentence, a beginning, a middle, and an end.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you're doing it in screenwriting, I still got to think in threes. But it's the most economical words that you can put on the page that paint a picture, right? And so the part of the puzzle becomes an economy of words, the economy of the best words.
The best
Now,
word.
fiction also is an economy of the best words, but
Mm-hmm.
you get more leeway. So in a screenplay where you might have to get through in 50 words, and if you gave them 100 words when it could have been 50, it's going to be a red X, right? They're going to
Yeah.
say, no, I'm not going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But in fiction, you have the leeway to stretch that out,
Oh,
but they still have to be the best words, right? So it becomes more difficult to
mm-hmm.
craft a compelling set of circumstances that make you want to read the next sentence or paragraph. So it's like fiction is more, but the bar is not lower. It's also a very where screenwriting ends up can be a collaborative process where you end up working with many people after you write Fade to Black. You give it to somebody, now you're working with other folks. With fiction, to a lesser degree, it's all about you,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that goes back to your voice where you have to trust yourself, right? So if I'm going to pound out 75 or 100,000 words, that's like a promise between me and you. I go, hey, I'm going to give you a 75,000 word document.
Mm-hmm.
And all I'm asking, this is my promise. I spent every ounce of energy to make this the very best 75,000 words.
Yes.
Um, and so like there's a trust, and it happens in screenplays as well. What happens in fiction is I'm asking an awful lot of people. I'm saying, hey, this is I don't know what it is, 400 pages or whatever, 75 or 80,000 words, and from the get-go, it's a pact between me and the reader that goes, hey, if I say if you give me the chance, I'm going to take you there. It's going to be worth it at the end, I promise.
Mm-hmm.
And that promise runs through both of them as well, because in screenplays, you're asking folks, it's the same thing. You're asking a jaded producer to read your 105-page horror screenplay. They've already read 20 this week, and you're going, I promise you, if you read the whole thing,
Mm-hmm.
right? Read the whole thing, it will be worth it. Um,
I love it.
and it's the whole idea is like it, the promise cannot be taken lightly, right? The
Yeah.
promise has to be wholehearted and heartfelt. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and then when I look back on my career of screenplays, when I look back on 20, 20 or 30 screenplays, and I look at screenplay number one,
Mm-hmm.
I know I had that promise there, but that the quality is not
It's not
there on
there. Yeah.
screenplay one,
Mm-hmm.
right? The quality, the young man who made the promise is there, but the
Mm-hmm.
quality is there. So
Mm-hmm.
that's the experience that took me from day one to today, was doing it over and over and over
Over and
again to
over and over.
fulfill my own promise to
Mm-hmm.
say, hey, trust me on this one. If you can get through it, it will be worth it. It'll be worth your time. Time is huge to me. Like me respecting your time as an artist,
Mm-hmm.
as a consumer of fiction or screenplays.
Mm-hmm.
That bond, that promise, that that's where it's at for me. Is give me the chance, and I'll make it right.
I love that. Now, one of the most interesting things about Judy is that the shark isn't presented as a villain.
Yeah,
Judy is simply acting on instinct. She's a shark. Why
yeah,
was that important to you as a writer?
yeah. So yeah, she's not. You're exactly right. She's not the villain. She's not angry or vengeful or evil or cruel.
Mm-hmm.
She responds to just like a shark. She responds to no, she doesn't. She is a shark. She
Mm-hmm.
responds to blood vibration, movement, and hunger and injury and like opportunity. So that makes her more realistic, right? That's how sharks act. And it makes the realism makes it more frightening. So if the the Judy's not the villain, it's the environment is the villain, and she is a part of the environment.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all about like what breaks under pressure. So this environment is going crazy around these people. The
Mm-hmm.
pressure goes up. So the environment becomes the villain. That's Judy in part, but
Mm-hmm.
that's the boat that they can't get to, the tide that's rising, the other marine life that's around them. Um, so Judy's just applies the pressure. Well, everybody wants to make Judy the villain, and that's what they did when I was talking about in those slasher-like shark movies, right? The shark is the villain, and the
Mm-hmm.
shark has got to get his comeuppance at the end. He's got to blow up or whatever. He's got to go, but not necessarily in Judy. She's a part of a system.
Love that. Okay. Now, talking about this family, the family is already dealing with separation, emotional distance into a strain, and they're placed in this extreme survival situation. Did the family drama come first, or did it emerge as you were developing the shark story
No, the family drama definitely came first.
first?
So I'll go back to E.T., right? I
Mm-hmm.
love E.T. I love E.T. for a million different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I watch. So E.T. definitely takes me back to this dynamic. It's about it's about whatever you want it to be, but to me, E.T. is about divorce. It's about a family. It's about a little boy who's lost his father to divorce,
Yeah.
and his mother is going through divorce, and ET comes in and he starts to not only befriend the boy but serve as like a surrogate family, right? He's putting the family back together again. So I knew that was the key was was to have this a relatable, believable family. They're all blue collar folks, right? They're not they're not kings and queens. This is just like you and me, and they're going through something that's extremely relatable, which is internal dysfunction. And that was key uh, to making the story compelling and making the characters who go through some rough stuff um, earn earn their way, right? They have to earn their way through the
Mm-hmm.
story. And that engine of divorce, putting it in first, drove a lot of how people react and how they move throughout my little restricted area of this hidden shoal.
Okay. So you clearly have done your homework on shark behavior because you talked about how you've kind of been fascinated with sharks since you were a young boy. What was the most surprising or unsettling fact you learned during your research that made its way into the book?
Okay, I'll give you two things.
Okay.
Uh, so the first one is that uh, sharks don't really eat you; they just bite you. But it's catastrophic either way.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be a lot of the. I think a lot of the previous shark movies stick with that idea of you're going to be eaten by a shark. And biologically, that's not really happening, right? Biologically, they're biting you and you're dying. Um, and I thought bringing that reality and making sure that people understand it um, was important. The idea that you, you can't, they always say, like, oh, it's just a test bite. Well, test bite's fatal, all right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not so. When Judy, I'm trying to not give too much away, but when Judy interacts with humans, if she were to bite them, she's not necessarily trying to eat them.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a fact. And the second thing is that um, that the ocean is a system, and Judy's a part of the system. But when Judy interacts with humans, other systems come in after the fact. So I'm trying to keep it at least PG here. So like after Judy were to interact with a human, other systems would come in and take away. It's like the ocean is keeping itself clean
Mm-hmm.
24/7, right? It's a huge system of crabs and other fish and other things coming in to clean things up. Um, and so the other fact I would always try to push on to folks or to kind of cement is that the ocean is a system, and when you go systems of marine life, tides,
Mm-hmm.
gravity, things that are out of our control, and we have no business necessarily being there. All right. It's a system that runs without us. And the fact is that you should realize that when you're going into that water, you are not necessarily in a safe place. You're part of a system that you don't understand. I don't understand either. There's a lot of systems. That's probably not the best place to be for a variety of reasons.
Listen, I saw a video yesterday of the alligator being, I think it was an alligator or crocodile, was in the ocean eating a seal. And I was like,
Mhm.
oh, what? How alligators are, and learned that there were saltwater alligators. That was my first time ever hearing that. I was like, wait,
Uh-huh.
they're in the ocean too?
They're everywhere, right? You cannot escape.
Oh, okay. There are going to be obvious comparison to from Judy to Jaws.
Yep.
How did you approach writing a shark thriller while still making Judy feel uniquely your own?
Yeah. So there's no escaping that Judy's like an emotional part of my DNA.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I thought about this a lot, right? Because I talk about Jaws a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so right now this is 2026, so we're 40 or 50 years away from Jaws the novel.
Yeah.
And Jaws the novel um, was about it was about like people that go out to face a shark. And this is about a shark that comes to be near the people.
Mm-hmm.
So like they weren't in Jaws, they went out, they hunt the shark at the
You
end.
would just go hunt them. Yeah.
Yeah, this is no, this is where the shark is just in its environment. So it's more like an intimate biological grounded survival story, right? So
Mm-hmm.
Jaws is not an intimate grounded survival story. It's a hunt story. Um, there's a lot of there's enough novels that are try to be about serious shark issues, but most of the time they end up hunting sharks. So I did try to differentiate it by one, family first, and then two, making it about survival and not a hunt.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I think that definitely reading the synopsis on it, I think that's what you did. I think you
Yeah,
did well on
I
that.
do.
So, um, you work in IT, correct?
I
Where
do.
systems are built around predictability and control.
Yeah.
Do you think that daily exposure to systems failure influenced you how to write suspense and disaster?
Yes. So yeah, you're right. I am in IT and things break all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully that's not a surprise. That's why I have a job. It's why a lot of people have a job because things break. And so one of the ideas, and I see this a lot in my own life, but I feel like it's sort of universal, is control, right? It's about I want control, I don't have control, I need control. How can I get control? Something broke. I lost control, I want control back. And that's what we see in IT, right? Is that we have all these tools that watch things break, and you have this moment where you have a sort of moment of anxiety as you lose control, and then we develop systems to get control back. And it's the same thing. Control is a massive running theme throughout Judy. It's about loss of control and trying to get control back. It's about not understanding you never had control, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
when they pull Judy out of the water to tag her near the beginning of the book.
Mm-hmm.
They name her, right? That's when they pull her up, they tag her, they name her Judy. And I go, well, why do we name our monsters, right? Why do we do that? Why is Godzilla called Godzilla? I don't know that answer, but I do know that humans, they want control. And so when you pull this massive shark up and you call it Judy, you think you have control over it. You think, oh, I've named you. I'm
Mm-hmm.
Judy, and now I'm going to study you. And in fact, you have no control. You have very, very, very little control. Um, and so that is how the need for control in IT or in our real lives relates to, at least a part, in control within Judy, is that they think they have control of the shark. The family thinks they have control of their marriage and their divorce proceedings, but they don't.
Mm-hmm.
Captain thinks he has control of the boat after the storm. He doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
And you go down the line of humans that thought they had control and then lost it.
Wow. Now, you already answered my next question. Well,
Okay.
you partially answered it. And it harkens back to you speaking about, how they pull a shark out and name the shark. But how did you, as the author, come up with the name Judy?
Yeah. I wanted a name that was very disarming.
Mm-hmm.
So she's not named after someone.
Mm-hmm.
In the book, she is. In the book, there's an explanation as to that she's named after a scientist's grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I didn't personally pick Judy um, to be a name. I don't know if I know anybody named Judy.
Hmm. But Judy
But
is such an unassuming,
yes, it's extreme.
sweetheart name of a person.
Yeah,
You meet a Judy, you think, oh, this person's probably
yeah.
going to be the nicest person ever.
That is why I picked it to be extremely disarming. Like I think
Hmm.
Mary Lee is a good one. I think that's very disarming too. It's like one of the biggest great whites ever is named Mary Lee. I think that's a good name because it's very disarming.
It
And I
is.
was going for that idea with Judy of going, oh, it's just everybody loves who doesn't love Judy?
It isn't
Judy's
like Judy.
it's a great name. Yeah,
Hmm.
there's not enough Judys now. And I
It's,
thought that there's like a dichotomy when you see her in her natural form being the queen of the ocean, which great white sharks are kings and queens of the ocean, right?
hmm.
Versus her disarming name of little old Judy. And it's that idea of you don't have control, right? You called her Judy, but she's more like a, whatever Brutus or something like that.
Hmm.
That they should have named her like, Killer, but they
Hmm.
tried to get control by naming her Judy.
Okay, that ties back into the control. I love that.
Yeah.
Without giving away any spoilers, the ending suggests survival changes the relationship at the center of the story. What interests you most about how people are transformed after facing something they can't control?
Could you ask me a question again?
What interests you most about how people are transformed after facing something that they can't control? After going through something tragic like that.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, okay. So probably what most fascinates me about change is this sort of like a capacity that you didn't think that you had, um, that you were thrust into a situation where you were forced to think about things in a different way,
Mm-hmm.
and you were able to take those lessons and get them back to real life to say, um, if we went through something like this, then it's really keeping a marriage together seems like it's something we could.
Child's play.
It seems like it's something much easier than going through facing life or death in the jaws of a great white shark. Um, so it's like this capacity for transformation, this ability to go, there's no way I'm doing that. Like roller coasters. I'm not into roller coasters. There's no way I'm doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, maybe if something happened, I could be transformed. But the engine for change, going from A to B or flipping that switch, is it's life in this situation. It's life changing, and they're able to the family that's at the center is able to pull these lessons out
Mm-hmm.
to say that if we can get through this transformative process of surviving with a great white shark, that we could probably do just about anything. I'm not even saying they get back together, but maybe they do.
Maybe they do.
Um, but it's how does it transform the family from one state to the next?
Now, Judy releases on June 23rd. When readers close the final page, what is the one feeling or idea you hope stays with them long after they're done?
Yeah, that's a good question. So the what I would most like for them to take away from it is that Judy is not a villain and
Mm-hmm.
that she's part of the system
Mm-hmm.
and that we never really had control. We only thought we had control. And that, taking a taking a dip in the ocean is at your own risk, always.
Always, always. Okay. If Hollywood was to call tomorrow and wanted to adapt Judy, what would be the one scene you're most excited and most nervous to see brought to the screen?
Yeah, okay, that's a good question. So probably the scene that I would be most nervous about would be there's a scene when the boat has floated 100 feet away and somebody's going to make a run for it, right? And they know that the shark is between them.
Mm-hmm.
So they're putting themselves in danger. And so they make it to the boat just in time as the shark swims by. Okay. So here's the one that really to me is the twist of the scene is that this guy, there's this thing called, on the back of a fishing boat, there's a thing called a swim ledge, right? You walk through this door, there's a swim ledge, and the swim ledge is partially in the water. It's like right, you're about to jump in the water, you walk on the swim ledge. And so he's on the swim ledge and the shark comes by. And the shark is huge. It's a massive great white shark. So the shark is passing him. And he looks at that shark for a moment and he realizes his place in the universe. When something this big controls this ocean, and he's standing right next to it, and he's seen what the shark can do, and he has this epiphany of where do I belong in the world, knowing that this is nature. I cannot compete against nature. And he reaches down, and as Judy's swimming by, he lets his hand run across her back, right? And he feels her place in this huge ecosystem. He puts his hand on her.
Mhm.
I think that's probably going to be a tough one for Hollywood. The
Mhm.
idea that we're giving into nature. It's like in any Twister movie when they want to get close to the Twister,
Mhm.
right?
Which is
And so
always
this,
crazy to me.
yeah. So, so I think that like reaching out after all these people have been through, this guy's going to reach out and just lay hands on the shark in a sort of way that's uh, what's the word? It's when it's when you're touching something in awe. It's come on, Mark, help me out here, Tay.
When you're
It's like
touching something
it's like
that
reverent,
convinces
reverent.
me.
It's like I cannot believe that I'm here at this time at this moment touching this giant beast. It's like
Mhm.
when you go and it's like in Jurassic Park when Sam Neill walked up and he touched the brontosaurus.
Mhm.
It's the same thing, but this is a little bit more real and grounded at this point.
Mhm.
So I think that that's going to be like that would be a trailer moment, right? Would be a guy reaching out and touching this great white shark as it swims by. Uh,
Oh, that is going to be a great. That's going to be a great. Yeah, that'd be a great scene for a
yeah,
preview of the movie. This
yeah,
huge, a creature that basically has held your life in his
yeah.
hands, basically, or and you take your and you just the mass of it.
Well, it's like the majesty. It's the majesty of the ocean. It's like anything that swam by or came close to you that you thought this is a this is a breath away from killing me, you know, from
Yeah,
his complete control over you. And it's he's gonna reach out and try and have not necessarily have a connection to the shark, but have a connection to nature and where he belongs in the world, like his place.
in the world.
I think that's gonna be a powerful moment.
I think that I agree with you. I think that would be a very powerful moment. I think that'd be perfect preview. Well, Mark, I want to thank you for coming on How Would You Write It?
Thank
But
you, Tay.
I have to ask you, where will everyone be able to find Judy on June 23rd? On June
No,
23rd.
June 23rd. It will be wherever you buy your fine books, including Amazon, Barnes and Noble. I hope everybody goes out and gets a copy. It's a
Oh, I didn't
fun
get a
read.
copy.
Yeah, it's a fun read, and I think everybody's gonna have a good time. I think it's a great novel for the beach. Even if you're not at the beach, if you're by the pool or you got a couple hours to kill, I think you'll have a good time reading it.
Great summer read, everyone. Please go out, support Mark, support this book because I want to see it on screen.
Me too.
Please. Now, Mark, where can
Yeah.
everyone find you if they're looking for you?
So on socials, I'm a Mark Davidson author. You can find me there, and we've got a PR team working behind the scenes that's helping push the book out. So hopefully you'll see it on your socials.
And I will put the link here, guys, for you to find the link to the book and find Mark too, if you're
Great.
looking for him. Now, Mark, I can't let you get away without asking you the how would you write it question. And the question is, if you own the last Blockbuster video store, and I'm sorry, millennials and younger than that, if you don't know what a Blockbuster video store is, please Google it. And you had people walk in and ask you for recommendations, what two
I
IPs would you recommend? I'm thinking, I already know, but
think you
let's see.
probably know one. Okay. All right. So just, I think I should get three. Okay. Because Jaws is sort of a given, right? Everybody
Mhm.
listen to the earlier stuff. Jaws is probably there. Jaws is definitely there. It's the most fun you can have watching a movie. So let's put that one aside. So the other two I'd give you would be Godfather, for a million different reasons, for the dialogue, the cinematography, the storytelling. Godfather's got it all. Gets a little shaky at the end. Godfather
Mhm.
3 gets a little shaky. And the other one would be the Alien series, especially the first two, right? And so that's Alien and Aliens. So,
Aliens, Godfather, and Jaws.
yeah, pretty safe bets. And time has bore that out. That those are good ones.
I mean, still good ones to this day. Like,
Oh yeah, I watched Godfather 2 the other day, and I'm in awe every time I watch a Godfather movie, and I feel like it's getting to a weird point, like the Jaws stuff. It's getting to a weird point of geekdom, of this is like the perfect movie. And it's
and this is
Al
so funny because
Pacino.
I was thinking about Godfather yesterday, and I was saying to myself, it was an actor. And I feel horrible right now because I can't remember his name. But I was just like, I don't want them to remake Godfather. On
Mhm.
any of them, I think they did a perfect job. If they want to do an extension of it in the future,
Yeah,
of future
right.
family members trying to start with that, sounds good to me. I feel like they don't need to remake it, but I just as an actor that I was watching and saying to myself, "Wow, he gives me Marlon Brando's
Yeah,
energy."
yeah.
And I could see him carrying a movie like that, with all of the leadership bravado and
Hmm.
fear that he could, uh, he could probably, push off in the movie as an actor. So it's just interesting to me that you brought up Godfather when I was
Yeah.
literally thinking about Godfather yesterday. It's just so
Yeah.
interesting to me.
They don't really make movies like that anymore. It's too
No,
bad.
they don't. They don't.
There's,
Even old black and white movies and all like that. I feel like they don't invest in the story anymore.
uh, Yeah, it's a shame because I think movies have just gotten too expensive. It's hard
Yeah,
to pony up the
they
bucks,
want
you
the
know?
big flashy,
Yeah.
things, and I'm just like, sometimes the best movies is the story and the pacing and the acting.
Yeah. Well, I think stuff gets to be real cyclical, and right now we're in a weird time.
Yeah, we're.
I think that this Artur type movie does come back. And
Mm-hmm.
you see little dabs of it, from like Quentin Tarantino will do these Artur type movies, and
Mm-hmm.
Paul Anderson. So they're still out there and they're still getting bankrolled, but they just don't seem to make the same splash as a Marvel movie, right? I get
Yeah,
it. And
yeah,
I just don't think they connect the same way. And I hope it comes back.
yeah. I think a lot of people, because of today, they want to fall into a hero story.
Yeah.
They want a hero, and I think that's the reason why they make the Marvel movies and the DC movies make more of a splash, because one is supposed to remind us that there are good people out there,
Yeah.
and also the hero factors, like, people want to be saved. In my mind,
Yeah.
that's the reason why I think Marvel and DC movies are making such more a splash than a good homegrown thriller or drama or even a good comedy nowadays.
Comedies are almost non-existent now.
Yeah, yeah, yes. Is I don't know the last comedy drama I've seen.
I don't know. I saw the Sasha Cohen one where
What was
it's on Netflix, I think. He's a boss of like
is that the one where he's a producer or actor or something?
he's like the boss of an ad agency, and he ends
Oh,
up switching. It's with the women.
mm-hmm,
So all the women start acting like men, and the men start acting like women. There's like the role reversal. It's like a Freaky Friday thing.
mm-hmm.
And generally, he's pretty solid, but it's just the movie is more like a checkbox movie where we're checking all the boxes, and it has no emotional resonance. The same. There's a other movie with Mark Wahlberg where he goes down to Brazil, and they're going to sell condoms at the FIFA event, and
Mm-hmm.
they get into trouble and they're running around Brazil, and it's not bad, but it's all very check mark. Let's make sure we check all the boxes, and it just doesn't go anywhere. It just doesn't have it doesn't have anything you're not going to talk about this movie a year from now, right? You're not
Yeah,
even going to remember it. And
yeah.
we need more of those where we're talking about them years after the
Years
fact.
because it
Yeah.
left some effect on you, you know.
Hmm.
It gave you, and I know people say they don't want to have lessons when they want to be brainless when they're watching entertainment,
Sure.
but that's that's not what entertainment to me has always been. You have walked away with some kind of lesson or thought or feeling from a movie or show that you just
Yeah.
watched. That was the point of it. Was the point of it all.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be something that can play just in the background while you're doing whatever you're doing. It's supposed
Right.
to bring you in, and I hate that we have moved away from it. I hope uh, soon that we get back to the true storytelling. And not saying that those are not good stories. I'm just saying that the heart of movies and TV shows, the heartbeat of it,
Yeah.
of hopefully that returns back.
Well,
Thank you again,
yeah.
Mark, for
Thank you,
coming
Kay.
on How Would You Write It?
I appreciate it. Thank you for everything.
And again, guys, please go out and get Judy, June 23rd. It will be out on all genres where you can buy books. Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, it's going to be there. So please go out and support Judy. And to the audience who have watched us and some of the audience members who may be writers yourselves, and it's been kind of difficult to continue writing and are you're feeling down about what the industry is looking like right now, or you may feel down because you're not getting any, inspiration, or you may not be getting anybody who's interested in your writing. What I can say to you is that don't stop. Um, your gift is here for a reason. You're here for a reason. So keep writing, keep creating, because the world needs it. Even if it's one person who sees it and it inspires them, you did what you were supposed to do. You were supposed to inspire, you're supposed to use that gift. So keep going. I believe in you. And we will see you next time on How Would You Write It?